Hey guys, good morning. So if you were doing the 365 A Course in Miracles workbook lessons, you would be on day 51 right now, on lesson 51. I just opened up the A Course in Miracles Oracle, as I do before I make videos, to try to shift me a little bit into a more aligned state. And I saw this, and it's lesson 51 today. It's a review of the first 5 lessons of A Course in Miracles, and I wanted to read those to you. They're short because they directly relate to all of the, I think, introductory manifesting concepts. And if you're not in an introductory manifesting concept headspace, then they're taking it even further into the nature of reality and the escape from the pain of the illusion. So I wanted to read these to you and then see what I can do to relate them to the things I've been talking about on here recently. And yeah, so I'm gonna read this. It's short. These are short. Lesson 1 is, nothing I see means anything. The reason this is so is that I see nothing, and nothing has no meaning. It is necessary that I recognize this so that I may learn to see. What I think I see now is taking the place of vision. I must let it go by realizing it has no meaning so that vision may take its place. So I'm going to pause really quick and just relate this to what I've been talking about in the last few videos about asking for correction in perception when you are stuck. Because when you're stuck with anything, it's because you're not seeing what you need to see. This is my base premise of everything that has to do with manifesting. You're either viewing yourself incorrectly, you're viewing your worthiness incorrectly. All the resistance you have to manifesting something is coming from a false idea. An idea that's creating resistance, that is stopping you from doing the thing you know you need to do in order to get something or get somewhere or change something. Or it's just simply blinding you from being able to understand how to do that in the first place. So this is the first step in erasing this. Understand that you don't see. And of course, if you're in A Course in Miracles person, this course is not about manifesting stuff in the physical world, but it is the mental processes. It's all the same. There's no two truths. There's one truth, and everything everybody is talking about is stemming from that truth in one way or another. I personally find it fun to try to connect all these things and figure out what angle everybody's coming from, who's talking about, the authors and everything. Everybody, once you realize they're all talking about the same thing, it's like a huge slap upside the head in a good way. You read this text and this this getting motivated text and this spiritual text, and you're like, whoa, it's all the same thing. Lesson 2, I have given what I see all the meaning it has for me. I have given what I see all the meaning it has for me. I have judged everything I look upon, and it is this and only this I see. This is not vision. It is merely an illusion of reality, because my judgments have been made quite apart from reality. I am willing to recognize the lack of validity in my judgments, because I want to see. My judgments have hurt me, and I do not want to see according to them. So just like the first lesson, and also if you watched my fundamentals or listened to my fundamentals reading from Neville Goddard a couple days ago, he quotes Emerson as saying, what man is, that only can he see. That's what this is basically saying. Your judgments and beliefs, your self-concept is the only thing you can see in the world. And, you may be looking out and saying, no, I see reality and this person agrees with me. And that's an objective reality, even if it's not a fact. This judgment, a lot of other people think it too. Therefore, it's real. It's not. It's not. Literally, all you can see are the judgments that you've made, and the judgments that you're making are based on a false idea of yourself. Therefore, you're basically fumbling through an illusion, and that's the source of all your pain. So anyway, that's lesson 2. Source of all your pain and the source of your inability to move outside of whatever cycle you've been in forever. Lesson 3, I do not understand anything I see. How could I understand what I see when I have judged it amiss? What I see is the projection of my own errors of thought. I do not understand what I see because it is not understandable. There is no sense in trying to understand it, but there is every reason to let it go and to make room for what can be seen and understood and loved. I can exchange what I see now for this merely by being willing to do so. Is not this a better choice than the one I made before? Again, it's right hand in hand with what I just said about lesson 2. You're not seeing anything correctly. You're not seeing, when you're relying on just your own human judgment, you're not seeing things clearly. This is why it's so valuable to say something, to communicate something like, God, let me see this situation through your eyes. Lesson 4. These thoughts do not mean anything. The thoughts of which I am aware do not mean anything because I am trying to think without God. What I call my thoughts are not my real thoughts. My real thoughts are the thoughts I think with God. I am not aware of them because I have made my thoughts to take their place. I am willing to recognize that my thoughts do not mean anything and to let them go. I choose to have them replaced by what they were intended to replace. My thoughts are meaningless, but all creation lies in the thoughts I think with God. So, it's really interesting to experience this. I think the video that I 2 days ago, the video that I posted about what a divine shift of perception actually looks like, it's basically just, you'll realize when you have the new thought. I was saying in the previous video that what happens is you're stuck in this thought loop. You're stuck in this limited pool of solutions and understandings of a situation. You're just stuck in there. You loop through. Nothing outside changes. You continue to be frustrated or upset or depressed or whatever. And then you ask for this shift in perception. You ask to think with God. God is whatever you want it to be. God is your higher self. God is the universe. God is whatever you think of as your divine assistant. Whether it's just another aspect of you, it's whatever you want it to be. When you ask that to correct your perception, it implants an idea that wasn't in that cycle of garbage that you had access to from your limited vibrational standpoint, if you want to bring that into it. The frequency that you're broadcasting, that you're stuck in, it gives you something from outside of that, and you bump right up, you bump right out of it, and then you can see and you have access to a different pool of solutions or thoughts or feelings about something or whatever. It really feels like a miracle, but that's what happens when you are just willing to have your perception corrected by whatever, God or the universe or whatever. That's all it takes, is just being open to it and asking for it, really. Lesson 5, I am never upset for the reason I think. I'm never upset for the reason I think because I am constantly trying to justify my thoughts. I am constantly trying to make them true. I make all things my enemies so that my anger is justified and my attacks are warranted. I have not realized how much I have misused everything I see by assigning this role to it. I have done this to defend a thought system that has hurt me and that I no longer want. I am willing to let it go. If you are just sort of scraping the surface of manifesting, if you're just getting into spirituality at all, I think that's enough to digest. And if your main focus is on changing something in the external world, and you're still sort of in the part where, I will feel better when the external changes to support that. And, in the meantime, sort of like the struggle to feel better in order to manifest, which is sort of what, manifesting is telling you, like whether you're into Esther Hicks or into Neville Goddard, it basically all comes down to changing something that will shift the way you feel. You will feel like you are acting, thinking from the state of already having the thing that you want, if you're Neville Goddard. But, in Esther Hicks, it's just like reach for the next best feeling thought from wherever you are, sort of propel yourself out of the frequency that is creating whatever it is that you don't like. It really doesn't matter where you're coming at this from. If you're still in the place where you're looking to shift the external, all of these lessons go hand in hand with the idea of ignoring the 3D, which, if you don't have a clue how to do it, is next to impossible. If you review these lessons or this video or whatever, this understanding that you have an ingrained tendency to assign meaning to everything that happens. Basically, what I'm trying to say is you have to find a way to stop doing that. You don't know what anything means, and that's what all of these lessons are trying to tell you. You don't know what anything that's happening means, because you can't even see what's really happening. First of all, you don't have the perspective to be able to understand how one event leads to another event, leads to another event, to lead you to the thing that you actually want to have happen. And things often happen in that process that you can't judge them correctly. You judge them to mean something that they don't mean. Getting over that and ignoring that is an essential part of allowing the process to happen that will change the external 3D from where it is now into what you want it to be. It's essential. You can absolutely interfere in this process by judging something that happens to mean something that it doesn't, and then disrupt or dismantle the whole process that's trying to bring you what you want. And so I think thinking about these ideas can make it easier for you to successfully have an external disaster happen or whatever, and not judge it, not assign meaning to it. You got to start somewhere, and introduction to these ideas is key, I think. And if you're far beyond the sort of introductory manifestation concepts, you might want to pick up a copy of this book, or it's free online everywhere. I mean, there's free apps that have all the lessons, all the text. They probably will deliver you up the daily lesson every day, and you can do it. I would, it's definitely worth getting your feet wet, dipping your toe in to A Course in Miracles, because this goes far beyond, it goes far beyond manifesting things in the external world. This is, this starts going in the direction of, a lot of the stuff that I talk about on this channel for myself, which is correcting all the misperceptions that you have about yourself so that you can be in peace. That's, I think, where everybody eventually gets to. It doesn't matter where you're at. These are valuable things to understand, no matter where you are in the whole process. So anyway, I hope that my commentary didn't confuse things on this. It's difficult to try to speak to everyone at every point in the process of all this. But nothing I see means anything. I've given what I see all the meaning it has for me. I do not understand anything I see. These thoughts do not mean anything. I'm never upset for the reason I think. That one, I think if you're intrigued by that concept, definitely start to get into A Course in Miracles a little. It's not the kind of thing you can pick up and read and be done with. It's kind of like the Bible. It's something you have to, I don't think I've ever made it through more than one section of one part of the book at once. And a lot of the times I can't even get through the whole section because it's just so densely packed with I mean, I can see why the more you expose yourself to this, the more your brain gets rewritten, because it's just every single thing in there is like a new code that has to be implanted. You're never upset for the reason you think. And the next idea that comes after that is because you're only upset because you see a meaningless world. And that meaningless world is coming from your misconceptions about yourself, and deep misconceptions about yourself. Far deeper than, I'm not good enough. It really addresses the source of I'm not good enough at the deepest level. And it's really interesting. I don't know. Anyway, I hope this helps somebody. Have a great day.